What up, Mike D? Checking in here with you guys. I want to forge a conversation today, man. I want to talk about Tupac as an innovator. We normally don't talk about Pac in those terms. We know Pac is one of the most impactful MCs ever, one of the most globally polarizing hip hop artists or just artists in general. He goes down with the Bob Marleys of the world, you know? And I want to talk about Pop from an innovative standpoint because we understand he's impactful and how great that his music was and how great of an artist he was and an actor as well, a budding actor, if you will. And, again, he started his acting training very early. But I think that people don't understand a lot of the things that Pac brought to the game, and he may not get a lot of credit for because he did a whole lot of things. Now, we know when Rakim touched down, he changed the way everybody flowed. We know Public Enemy, they gave us that revolutionary music. Excuse me. Can't fumble over that, man. Love Public Enemy. Chuck D is my guy. That guy. And, when NWA came in, what they brought to the table. Also, LL Cool J as a solo artist and as a hardcore hip hop artist that could go out there and make music for the ladies. They could do it all basically, just be that overall superstar, be that artist that could do these elongated interviews and be, I don't want to say a crossover success, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what LL Cool J was. And in my personal opinion, I feel like LL Cool J is hip hop's first superstar. Now, Pac was able to observe all of those things as a fan and as an artist and be all of those things in one. Pac gives you a level of LL Cool J. He gives you a level of Cube. He gives you a level of Chuck D. He gives you a level of Scarface. Like he can do all of those things from storytelling. He can make records, that were strictly for the ladies. He could do the whole emotional duality. He gave us a level of balance to the magnitude where many people viewed him as a hypocritical MC. And it wasn't that. He was just able to give you all walks of life and all balances and all notions of life in one person, which was remarkable and still is remarkable to this day. If you look back at Pac's catalog, to me, that's what really sets him apart from the rest. I think even in a versus conversation, right, when we talk about going 20 songs deep with an individual artist, I think that he would probably be the toughest to beat because he has that level of balance where you have a guy who made a How Do You Want It, a guy who made a California Love, and you also have that same guy who made Keep Your Head Up, a Dear Mama. You know what I'm saying? Like Temptations. I mean, the list goes on and on. Brenda's Got a Baby. Like he gives you a level of balance. America's Most, that's with Snoop. But I wanted to say something more of like Ambitions as a Rider, right? Like he could do all of those things, live and die in LA. And I don't think there's an artist out there that could give you that level of balance at that high level like Pac could. Like he could give you a 10 out of 10 record that was a conscious record, and he could give you a 10 out of 10 record that was a street record. He could give you a 10 out of 10 record that was an anthem record. He was very different in that sense. And to me, those are some things that he kind of brought to the game that made him an innovator because everybody had their own individual lanes, right? He was the guy that came in and said, for all intents and purposes, he was a bit of a Captain Planet where it's like, look, you want the conscious MC, you want the street MC, you want somebody who could give you some West Coast bops. I can do all of these things all in one person and on one album. Now, he gave us that. And one thing that I don't think that he really gets credit for is the fact that when we look at blockbuster music videos, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I don't even count MC Hammer because MC Hammer is some other stuff, man. Too Legit to Quit was a monster for the people who were there that remember. I don't even think that MC Hammer was playing in rap arenas. But we're talking about music videos, and when we start getting those blockbuster music videos, to me, I think it starts with California Love. Hype Williams did California Love. They had the whole Mad Max theme, excuse me, and it's no secret that again, they're out in LA. Pac is a movie star. They had actual movie stars in the video, and it was a movie star set. You look at that music video, and you could tell the impact that it had on music video budgets moving forward. I feel like California Love is the first blockbuster hip hop music video where it was like big, big stuff going on. You know what I mean? And that starts with Pac. And to kind of piggyback off of that, on the All Eyes on Me album, Pac gave us the first hip hop double disc, and we got a whole bunch of double discs that came after that. He innovated that. He was a trailblazer in that. He was a leader for the game moving forward with, the double disc. And then after his double disc, we saw, look, um, we saw Life After Death. We saw Bone Thugs and Harmony do it with Art of War, so on and so forth. Now, another thing that I want to I want to actually acknowledge when we're talking about that time period as well. Tupac going to death row, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I feel like this was the first big free agent move that we had ever seen in hip hop. Now, granted, he was already signed to Interscope Records. I think he was Interscope's first hip hop signee in the first place, and Interscope was distributing Death Row Records. But after his jail stint or whatnot, we know the story. Snoop wanted Suge to go get him out, got him out, and he joined the team. But that marketing play with Pac joining Death Row and the momentum that came behind that, and him joining the team with Suge, Dre, and Snoop, that was the first of its kind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't think of anything like that where somebody is joining the team, a superstar is joining a superstar team. Pac is the catalyst for that. And I think all the moves that were made after that, even Snoop going to No Limit when he did, I think those things are kind of patterned after what Tupac did with his Death Row move. That was a big move. MTV was covering that shit like 24/7 because that was huge. He also, we want to talk about his adversity that he dealt with as a star in the spotlight. I hate it, and it was tragic. But when he got the whole quad studio situation where he was shot, where he had to, serve his time, like he had a number one album while he was locked up, that was unheard of. And the fact that, he was going through all of these things in the public eye, we see it now when artists, tragically get shot or, go to jail and this and that. These things weren't really happening for an active artist and an artist at their peak and an artist that's on the radio um during Pac's time before Pac. You know what I mean? Like he was the guy that went through all of these things in front of the public and still was putting out hit records, great albums, and had us all glued to his story and to his music. Also him being the actor that he is or was, excuse me. Um, Many have done it, of course, but the duality of being able to, you know, be important in film and be important in the record industry at the same exact time, not many people did it to his level. He has an iconic role in the Bishop Juice role, right? Being Bishop and Juice is an iconic role that not many hip hop artists can say that they have an iconic role like that. And other than that, I wanna harp on Pac as a fashion icon as well. Pac popularized, whether people wanna admit this or not, Pac popularized tattoos in hip hop. Um, Tattoos were more a motorcycle rock type thing when it came to popular success. Similar to when we talk about the NBA, they give Allen Iverson credit for bringing tattoos and things of that nature to the NBA. But technically, Dennis Rodman had tattoos too, but he was viewed as something different, right? But to make it massively popular in hip hop, Pac was the guy that did that. He did that with the bandanas, with the tattoos. He was ahead of the curve, and not even just with the streetwear, because I love that story about him doing the Carl Kanai ad for free because he wanted to support another black man in his fashion empire that he was building. I think that's an incredible story. I wish some of our artists would do stuff like that now. But not only did he do that, but he was the one that brought Versace to the game. he was suiting it up. He with the Rolexes, he could do it all. Like he was a renaissance man. And what he brought to hip hop fashion, it was things that we saw even after, he was no longer here. There were so many artists, especially from the South and from everywhere, man. Like stylistically, Pac was their influence. I remember, I'm gonna date myself a little bit. I was in middle school when Pac, no, I was high school when he passed, but I was in middle school when he was at the height of what he was doing. You could walk around the school and see, guys with the nose ring, bandana, like they niggas trying to look like Pac. It was crazy. And then you even see it in the game, man. Like, Lil Zane, shout out to him. He came out there with the Pac style, Pac flow. A lot of people felt it. Even DMX's approach when he came out, Ja Rule's approach, it was reminiscent of Pac. And I think that he had such a hold on the imagery of hip hop, the approach of hip hop, and where hip hop went. He was an innovator in so many lights, and he did it as an individual. He innovated based on what his individual personality was was coming to the table with. And when you look at Pac in relation to his peers at this time, because this time period I'm talking about, we're talking about really 92 to 96. He's kind of standing on his own. Like, other guys are doing other things, rocking other things, and, having their own flavor. Being original in hip hop back then was a staple. Like, it was like you had to be original, you had to be yourself. Even Pac called out people who were, biting on some of the things that he was bringing to the game. And you had to be yourself. And he was able to stand out and stand on his own. And I think that for those reasons, his style and everything he brought to the game, and I'm sure there's even more things that you guys can even highlight in the comment section. I think Pac is hip hop's greatest innovator. He brought too much to the game you know, that lived on even after him. I want y'all to hit like and subscribe, and let me know in the comment section some other things that I may have left off that Pac brought to the game, because there's so many things. You can't even cover that in like a quick video. Rest in peace to Tupac, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, hip hop artists of all time. Y'all hit like and subscribe, and I'm gonna talk to y'all soon.